like to call the work session meeting of June 7th, 2021 to order. Let's start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag,
to the flag
of
of the United
States
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll start with the roll. So President Schultz is going to be absent. Secretary Treasurer Horowitz, obviously I am here. I'll be running the meeting this morning. Ed J. Warner Jr.
Present.
William Pell IV.
Present.
And Welker.
here.
Okay. So hello, everybody. Hope you all had a nice weekend. And let's jump right in. We have some discussions here. I see, Bill, you have a couple discussions?
Yes, the one on, I did not take a look at the polls, but someone dropped them off to James as a sample polls. James, are you there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
Billy, I looked at them. They look like they're a good product, much better than the other pilings that we had, the presentation a few years ago. They seem to be much more rigid and have a system inside that make them a better, stronger pole.
Oh,
Because I know the other poles that we had presented, the fiberglass poles, some of the marinas had used them on larger boats, and they were not adequate to tie larger boats up. They were very brittle and broke.
Yeah, I think they needed to be filled with concrete or something, which was like a major project now.
Yeah, some of the other ones at the other marinas up west, they did actually fill them with concrete, which makes it a much more costlier, project. And some of the marinas around here just used Jackson's Marina just used the poles, the hollow ones, and they didn't fare very well with the larger boats. They broke off.
So is there, Billy, any knowledge locally where we can see this in?
just that one of the people at 1770 North Sea Road, they wanted to use it on their docks, so they just wanted to make sure we were okay with it.
InterScience is on. Scott, maybe Jim knows.
James Walker.
Charles, could we let Jim Walker in, please?
He's in, I think.
He's in.
Jim, can you turn on your video?
1 second, I'll help.
Thanks, Charles.
Must have, oh, there he is.
There you go.
Hello.
Hey, Jim.
How's it
Jim.
going?
How are you, Jim?
Hey, Jim,
Hello.
what do you know about those polls, Jim?
They're recycled plastic. They're reinforced with fiberglass. And to tell you the truth, Bill, at Bullhead Yacht Club, they're using the fiberglass piles. And I would say in a commercial marina, it's probably not a great idea to use one of these alternates as a mooring pile. As a bulkhead pile, though, bulkhead piles are really used to straighten a bulkhead. So I think they're fine there. Mooring piles, a commercial marina can still use red oak for mooring piles. And they cost the same as CCA treated piles, and they last 10 or 15 years. For instance, at Mill Creek Marina, they used all red oak tile piles. But for a bulkhead, especially a bulkhead at 1770, I think they're fine. In fact, I don't think they needed facing piles at 1770. They could have built that whole job with a flush face seawall. But for 1770, I think it's a great idea. And I think with all these alternates that are coming up, I think you'll continue to see them. And they're going to have applications where they're good, and they're going to have applications where they're probably not sufficient. The problem with tropical hardwood piles is they split from the top and they split all the way down. So if they're not double banded or the banding breaks, you can lose a piling quite easily. And the easiest place to see it is at the end of North Sea Road. There's a relatively new bulkhead, and the guy put in tropical hardwood piles, and they're shot. They're ruined. They're completely worn out at the water level. And the part of the problem there is the erosion at the beach at the end of North Sea Road is constant. So the guy's going to have to replace every one of the pilings there. And for a job like that, maybe this is a good choice. Tropical hardwood piles aren't going to work at every single location. Red oak pilings aren't going to work at every single location. So I think for the Board of Trustees, you should keep your mind open. These pilings look good, but Bill, you know as well as anybody, when you try to drive a piling that's got a star-shaped support system down through the mud in
rocks.
Social Marina, you may or may not hit a rock, and you may be not able to use that piling without a point. You might have to put a point on it. A point is an old piling or something like that, cut and attached to a piling like this, and then driven into the ground or jetted into the bay bottom in the normal manner. So in some locations, I think this is fine. In some locations, it's probably not the greatest idea. I think for 1770, it's fine. You probably got mud there. It's probably easy to drive piles there. Again, at a facing pile for a bulkhead, it's more or less used for straightening the bulkhead. The strength of the bulkhead is largely related to the length of the sheathing and how deep the sheathing is driven. So that's my thoughts on it, on the thing. I thought the eco piles were pretty substantial. I thought they were pretty strong.
Jim, where are they made?
What's that?
Where are they made? How far?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
So, you know, I think you're going to see alternate materials proposed all over the place, and the town trustees are going to see them, and I think they should be encouraged. But I think everywhere in the United States, you're going to see different companies doing different things. These seem to be strong pilings. They are recycled plastic, which is a good thing. They are reinforced with fiberglass, which is a good thing. They can be filled with sand, which is a good idea. They can be filled with concrete, which is also a good idea. But they might not be useful for a commercial marina where you have Shinnecock Canal pushing water through back and forth and boats pounding against a fiberglass piling. Probably isn't the greatest thing in the world. I have heard nothing but good things about the fiberglass pilings, period. I think they're okay. Bullhead Yacht Club has been installing them, a few each year. And I gave this particular piling product cut sheet to Bullhead Yacht Club, and they may try one too. And whether they fill them with sand or concrete or not, I think that's going to depend on the particular project where they're being used for. And filling them with sand and filling them with concrete is probably expensive, but maybe it's an application that would work in certain instances. You can do the same thing with the fiberglass pilings.
Yes.
So
Jim,
that's all I have to say.
Jim, you said that these are made in Florida. Have they been made for a while? Are you aware of sort of the history on them? Just because I'd be concerned about plastic as it breaks down, photodegrades. So do you know anything about that?
No. When I don't know something, Ann, I'm the first person to admit it.
Aren't they wrapped with a fiberglass on the outside and the plastic is on the inside, Jim?
I would say yes. They appear to be fiberglass reinforced, period. I don't think you're going to suffer a whole lot of degradation But we heard the same thing when Trimax first came out with plastic lumber, and it's installed all over Bullhead Yacht Club behind the old bulkheads to keep the sand from falling into the boat basin. But I think every product is going to break down to some extent. Does this product look like it's going to break down? Probably not. I think they're probably pretty strong. And I think you're probably going to continue to see products like this come into play.
It's great they're using recycled plastic.
Jim, do you know if there's any local sales places that we could ask if they're used any place other than the town, maybe East Hampton or Riverhead or someplace like, or Southold?
I don't know that for a fact, Ed, but I'll contact the company and see if they have any places where they can demonstrate they've been used in the Northeast.
Good. That's good. Thanks, Jim.
I'll see what I can come up with. I think the trustees should keep an open mind for these kind of things. I think in a back bay situation like 1770, they're going to be fine. I think they're going to hold up nicely there. The ice damage there isn't that much. That old bulkhead at 1770 has probably been there for 30, 40 years. It's a location probably ideal for this type of thing. Steve Maresca is the engineer at 1770. He said they would be fine for strength. So
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thanks for the information.
I believe they're going to use them, and I'll contact EcoPilot and see what they come up with, if they can show us photos or history of other sites.
Great.
Thank you,
Thank
Jim.
you, Jim. Thanks a
Thanks,
lot
Jim.
for weighing in.
Right.
Thank
Thank
you for the
you.
information.
Take it easy.
Got one more question for you before you get up with your coffee there. Do you know when they're gonna start this project?
The weakfish fishing was good, Bill. Is that the question?
No, I know that. Weak fish is good. I got it by myself. No, when are they gonna start the project, on 17?
Bill, I think they're going to start it right away. I tried to get them to wait because they don't have an Army Corps permit yet, but they don't need an Army Corps permit for bulkhead repair. So I think they're probably going to replace it under nationwide general permit number 3, maybe.
Okay.
But they're eager to start right away. So I think they're going to start right away, Bill.
All right, so we need, is the board fine with them using it?
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Maybe just if Jim could get back to us with those couple questions.
It
That
meets
would
the
be
Blue
great.
Book, right? It meets
Yes.
Blue Book regulations. It's not treated. So if it meets Blue Book, I think it should be fine. I mean, if it's an engineering issue, or a longevity issue,
Engineer says it's fine as well,
Well,
Scott. So,
that's fine because it meets Blue Book. So I think you should be fine.
okay. Well, I'll let them know.
All right, thanks, Jim, for the
Thanks,
info.
Jim.
Thanks.
Take it easy.
All right. So Trustee Pell, you have another discussion, 56 Middle Pond Road.
I think that-
Vegetation correct?
I think that's it.
Is that Ed's? I see Lisa Lind.
It's Ed's area, that Lisa and, I'm sorry, I don't have your name.
Lynn.
Larry. Lisa and Larry are on, they have some questions, regarding their property, where it butts the channel over in Middle Pond. I'm gonna bring it up on the screen so you guys can see. They would like to, revegetate add sand to near, behind the bulkhead, where as of right now it is, grass. I'll pull it up here. And they can speak to it. So it's the one highlighted in red here.
So you can see the long side of the bulkhead is about 100 feet as grass. At the head of the bulkhead, at the end of the canal, we have grass there, and we just think it'd be a nice aesthetic effect and environmentally friendly to remove the grass and put in a beach. It would have good drainage. It wouldn't require any chemicals that would be required for grass. And we just think an aesthetic thing with some flamingos, a hammock, and some Adirondack chairs.
Did you consider putting any beach grass? Because the roots of the beach grass absorb the nutrients from your lawn.
Our whole property is bordered with the beach grass where there's grass. That area has, it's part of what got us thinking about this was that we don't fertilize that area. It's not growing. It's got weeds in it. It's just, we want, instead of making it grass again, we thought
would-
it was the thrust of the Southampton to make it something that doesn't require fertilizer, that doesn't.
We would be removing grass and putting in something that requires no lawn care.
So to distinguish, when I'm saying beach grass, I don't mean lawn.
We understand.
Right, okay, because beach grass wouldn't be fertilized or mowed, but you could weed it. But you were referring specifically to lawn for that, to sand, for that entire 100-foot, and how wide?
No, not for the 100-foot, only at the head of the canal. At the head of the canal, which is the short end of that triangle at the head where you see the dock,
Oh.
the dock is, and there's a red kayak on it. So it would just be at the head of the canal. It's about 10 by 18 feet, not the long edge of the canal. We wouldn't be touching that.
Got it.
The very
That meets
headwaters
Blue
of the
Book.
canal. Yeah, that, I
Right,
mean,
so that's,
removing the grass would be, and any chance of fertilizer would be a good thing. And putting, I would, if I was doing the project, I would like to put small pea gravel in there because you don't have a wave fetch to take it out. And it really, pea gravel or small gravel really gets very, very good drainage, much better than sand.
Yeah, the specs we got from the landscaping guys would have us go down about 14 inches. And as you said, have gravel at the base, then smaller gravel, and then the sand on top. So the drainage would be excellent.
That would be a good, formula for excellent drainage. Yes.
it fully complies with Blue Book regulations, so
Yes.
I don't see a problem with that. I think it would be good.
Sean, usually we have jurisdiction when a bulkhead is being replaced for that 10 feet. What about in this situation where there's no bulkhead work being done?
But we've taken jurisdiction because there was lay logs there in Deadman.
And
We
I think
already
we
have
had
the
a
tech-
prior trustee permit for the work that was done, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check on that.
Everything with the existing bulkhead was fully filed, and your team has a file on it from the previous owners.
Right, so that's why you have
With
jurisdiction.
NCON and permitted.
I don't see any issue at all with what they're requesting to do. I think it will be good.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. And
Okay, great.
Well,
I think
thank you. And we will, if your team knows how to reach us, if there's any questions, we'll send you a picture from the hammock and the final result. I think from the environmental standpoint, we're moving in the direction you want. We're taking out grass and we're putting in something with great drainage.
I appreciate the proactive stance on protecting water quality in the environment. Thank you very much.
Maybe,
Thank you.
maybe next you could look at the 100 feet along the canal.
I honestly, we are,
That's the thought.
we are environmentally friendly, and our only issue with that, and just to take one more minute of your time to consider that, is that in order to get to kayaks and put kayaks in along that grass, we need to walk there. So if we put the tall grass, we can't access it. So it is part of our access, but we will continue to keep the environment in mind and work with you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
along with the tall grass comes the ticks, and then comes tick spraying, and then, so it's kind of like, we got to get a balance here, and I think you guys are achieving it. So thank you very much for your, upgrade there. I think it's good for the environment.
We really appreciate you putting us on the agenda. You've got bigger fish to fry, but this is a nice one for us. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Lind.
Great day. Okay, so that wraps up the discussion portion of the meeting. I did want to talk about an application I wanted to put on. I don't know, Hampton Point Association has an application in with us. It's a seasonal dock, and they want to increase the size of their pilings to change the elevation of this dock. So I really wanted the board to weigh in on that, since elevation is obviously a consideration that the board looks at when they're doing these projects. But we don't have it here. But if you would just, give that some thought for next work session, elevation of seasonal docks. I would appreciate that. That we will be prepared for.
Is that Scott, two quick questions. Is that just the decking that's going to be elevated, or the pilings alongside the docks so the boats don't ride up over it on a storm? Because as you and I both know, and I think the rest of the board knows, sea level rising is a pretty real situation here. And as we get these storms and higher tides, these boats want to ride up higher and higher on these docks. So some of the dock pilings along the docks need to be thought about,
Yeah.
probably raising them up, probably 2 feet.
Right. I agree. But the reality is that I think that the board needs to look at it and
Okay.
factor that in, and then make the decision, and based on the conditions, as you stated, sea level rise, then adopt a consistent policy. That way, we know exactly what's going on, and we eliminate other vista related issues or elevation related issues. And you set a standard that has rhyme and reason, as opposed to just doing it without any consideration. So we don't, James has the application. Obviously, we've been very busy. So we'll try and get that on for the next session, but I just wanted to kind of get you thinking on things. All right.
Great.
Anybody
Thanks,
else have
Scott.
anything? We got a packed agenda for the general session, so, right, Sean? Anybody else? Billy?
I'm good. Thanks, Scott.
We got a 25 pager for the afternoon.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah. So if there's no further discussion for work session here, we could adjourn, and we'll pick it up at 1:00 and move forward as efficiently as we can. I believe Trustee Schultz should be back in by that point in time.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Sean, are you going to be around for a little bit? Because I'd like to give you a call and discuss a project. All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So that
Make it-
being said, I'll make a motion to adjourn our work session.
Second.
Second.